Okay, good morning. Welcome back. Since the last time that I've done a video, I decided to go ahead and build a workbench so we could get some more work done here. The project that I'm going to be working on for the next couple of videos is a Tektronix 468 Digital Storage Oscilloscope, and it has a couple of issues, so we're going to see if we can get them corrected. Some of the buttons and switches are a little sticky, and I've got a can contact cleaner, so that shouldn't be a problem. The big issue that we have, if I go ahead and turn the scope on, it goes through its startup procedure. Once it warms up, I've got a trace, but it's a big fat fuzzy trace, which is not correct. If I put the scope into storage mode, the trace looks right. But if I'm in non-storage mode, it has issues. Now I've noticed, and this is on both channels, if I go in and mess with the voltage selection, it'll clear up. So I would imagine that I have some dirty switch contacts, or maybe attenuator blocks that need to be cleaned, or something along those lines. So we're going to go ahead and open this scope up and see if we can get that issue corrected so that this scope works properly. And then of course we're going to clean up on the inside, see if there's any dust, dirt in the fan, so on and so forth. And I'll also, see, that switch is sticky, show a little bit more information about a modification that I made on this scope just the other day. These scopes from this time frame all have the same issue. The feet on these scopes, the material that they're made from is not a very good material for the age that it is, and they tend to get brittle and fall apart. This scope only had 2 feet. The other 2 feet were just broken off little stubs, and you couldn't set the scope up. So I went ahead and took my mini lathe and I machined out some replacement feet, which I'll show a little bit more about. The nice thing is now the scope can be set on its back like that, which makes certain usages easier. So anyways, I'm going to go ahead and take the cover off, and when I come back we'll have the scope apart, and I'll show you what it looks like when we go to clean the switch contacts and the attenuator
So in the
blocks.
Tektronix 468 Digital Storage Oscilloscope, there are 2 input channels, and so this is what it looks like when you get into the scope on the left hand side. This is the B channel that has the cover still installed. I've removed the cover from the A channel, and as you can see, when you rotate the voltage selection control, you can see the small switch contacts moving on either side of the attenuator blocks. Now, I've previously had this scope apart many years ago, and I cleaned the attenuator block contacts, and that resolved one issue, but there's still another issue. So I believe that I need to get in here and clean the switch contacts that the switch drum is actuating, which you can see down there. So I'll go ahead and get started on that. We'll do a little bit of video on that process. It's a quite delicate process. So let me get prepared for that. And so we're back.
I'll be right back. And where we're at now is we need to clean the small switch contacts. As you can see, when you turn the voltage selector switch, it raises and lowers the contacts. So since the contact is raised right now, you want to get a thin, narrow piece of very fine lint-free paper. In this case, I happen to have a receipt from a local auto parts store that the paper is very thin. So what we're going to do is just put the paper under the contact, like so, and then spray it with a little bit of contact cleaner, rotate the switch, the selector switch, to close the contacts, and then we're going to gently pull the paper out. Now what that'll do is it'll work at cleaning the contacts, and once the contacts are clean, hopefully that'll resolve the issues with the switch not wanting, the voltage selector switch not wanting to work properly, which I think is what's causing our fat trace issue. While I have the attenuator blocks out, I'm going to clean those as well. Some of these switches, it's a little bit difficult to get under. I'm going to go ahead and finish cleaning the switches. When you're messing with the attenuator blocks, you want to make sure you only pull one out at a time. They are different, and you don't want to mix them up. You may have to rock them back and forth with a small screwdriver or a tool to get them out, and then just set them to the side. Do one at a time. Only work in one attenuator compartment at a time as well, so you don't confuse modules between the two. So we'll be back and we'll see how it's working. So yesterday, before I went to work, I completed the cleaning of all of the attenuator blocks on both the A channel and the B channel. That's cleared the intermittent issues. So let's go ahead and we will power on the scope and wait for it to complete the power on self-test procedure, which it has. And we will go ahead and connect our probes to the calibrator output. And as you can see, we still have traces that are quite wide. Which the focus knob does not correct. But reading the manual, what I did find out is that a lot of times when you see these fat traces on a Tektronix 400 series scope, if you clean the attenuator block connection pins and the switching assemblies and it doesn't clear it up, it may be high frequency noise riding on top of the signal from the calibrator. So what you can do is press this button to limit your bandwidth to 20 megahertz, and that makes the traces look a lot better. So this is probably one of those cases where I should have read the manual first, but we do have the information that we need now to see what we need to see. So it looks like this scope is repaired. I'm going to go ahead and finish cleaning the fan, and I might go ahead and work the connections on some of these socketed transistors just to make sure they're making good contact. But as far as I'm concerned, this scope is working, so we should be able to go ahead and put it into service as well. So that's it for now. I hope that you found this informative. If you have any questions, go ahead and post them below. Like, share, and subscribe. Have a good day.